Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Fari Patel and I am studying in Chemical Laboratory Technician program. My student ID is 9915913339. Well, today I am going to present my first cultural presentation, which is on official languages. Here I have selected country Spain, as we all know that Spain has a very different, I can also see that Spain is a very diverse country. Well, has anyone heard about Toni Morrison? As he told us that we die, that may be the meaning of life, but we do have language that may be the measure of our lives. Well, this sentence has a very deep meaning. As we all know that language is that bridge which connects people with different culture. It makes us understand what others want to see. And language has no limits, right? Well, here I am going to talk about Spain's official languages. Well, going on the next slide, which indicates five official languages of Spain, which are Spanish, Portuguese, Basque, Catalan, and Occitan. Well, according to this, I would definitely like to say that Spanish is also known as Castilian. Well, on the have some wordings, for to greet hello. There are so many styles in these languages. Here in Spanish we can greet as hola, in Portuguese is hola, in Basque it's caixo, in Catalan it's again hola, and here I would like to specify that Spanish and Catalan, these both languages are very similar with each other. In also in some grammar rules, in some verbs, and some of the pronunciation in these languages are very similar. And the last one is Occitan. In Occitan, we can greet hello as idiom. Well, this is quite interesting, right? Well, you all are thinking that how many people, how many native speakers are there for in the Spain for these all languages? Well, you will surprised when you will see the next slide. In this slide, you can definitely see that 45 million people are using Spanish as their first language. Well, it's surprising, right? And and the next one it's Catalan language, which has 4.6 million native speakers. As I told before, that Catalan and Spanish, these both languages are very similar with each other. For the other languages like Basque and Portuguese, this both have 2.6 and 2 million number of people. And of course, Occitan is a national language and also official language, but it has very less people, around only 0.9 million. Um, when we go on the next slide, which is the history of official languages, well, you guys think that history is very boring, but when you got to know that when will this language is found, you will be surprised, and I'm very sure about that. For the Spanish, well, it was found during Second World War. Even I can say that Second World War was the time when very people were not not well educated. But still, after this time, Spanish has so many importance in Spain. Talking about Portuguese, it was developed in 3rd century. Well, it is quite interesting because in subject of social studies, we all learned that Portuguese was the language and Portuguese has a very great history. Well, Basque was found in 1st century. However, Catalan was diverged from the Romance language in 9th century. It's quite late compared to the other three languages, but yes, Catalan was diverged from the one of the Romance language. And the last one, which is Occitan, it was appeared in Latin text from early 14th century. So we can summarize that from these all five languages, Occitan was the language which was found very lastly. Um, when we goes with my next slide, it describes the unofficial languages used in Spain. Well, you can see there are very difficult pronunciation of this language names. But the last one, which is English, yes, of course, we all are very aware about it. But here I would definitely like to specify that this unofficial languages do had some restriction in the past, which I indicated in the next slide. There was a ban on other languages except Spanish. Even I can say that Catalan, Occitan, Portuguese, and also Basque. These four languages were also restricted on the times of early 18th century. But there was no restriction for foreigners. I mean, foreigners can use any language they want to use. After 1970s, when the King of Spain got dead, the restriction was finished and people can use these official languages as their first or second language, whatever they want. Well, this was about language restrictions and their history and all. Well, here I have something interesting about official languages. We'll start with Spanish. Well, do anyone know that Spanish is the most romantic language on the planet? Oh, yes, it is. And it is also the fourth most spoken language on the earth. Uh, Going on Portuguese language, I would definitely like to say that it is the only language which has fastest growing European language, and it is also sixth most spoken language. Going on the next language, which is Basque, it has seven different dialects. Well, it is quite interesting because some of our, here I would like to exemplify my first language, which is Gujarati. It only have two dialects, and I was quite surprised when I got to know about that Basque has seven different dialects. For the next one, I would like to say that yes, of course, Basque was the one of the oldest living language. Yes, even my grandfather's grandfather. I mean, my ancestors were to. I mean, it was a time when I was studying social science in ninth standard. At the time, I found in my social study subject that Basque was one of the oldest living language. And yes, for the Catalan language, it was only official language in Andorra all over the globe. Yes, and it has a very mere dialect of Spanish. As I told you before, Spanish and Catalan has very similarity. Yeah, here it is. And for the last but not the least language, which is Occitan, it is seriously endangered language of planet. You know what? People are not very people are not very allured with this language right now. But still, in some cities of Spain, people are using Occitan as their first language so that they can save the existence of this language. Apart from that, this language is known as pluricentric language. Um, well, I think this is the time to conclude my presentation, and I would like to say that Spain, I mean the country Spain, do have many official and unofficial languages, but it depicts from these presentation that Spanish people are mostly using official languages and they respect their language. According to this, I would definitely like to add that this also has evolution history. Like Spanish was not very famous in the time after Second World War, but after this all evolution, the restrictions, bans, because of all this, Spanish was very famous in all over the globe. Even I can say that Spain is the only country which have 45 million native speakers who are using Spanish as their mother language. Well, here from now, I would like to complete my presentation by saying that this was the first time when I present something about a different country, and it was my great experience. And I hope that you all enjoy my presentation. Thank you.